It was such a pleasure and an honor to be here today and get to kind of witness firsthand a lot of the voices that need to be heard about not only young artists but artists in general all around the world who can come together and support work for kind of a greater good and talk about the issues that needed to be talked about and kind of inspiring us here. And it was just very informative and interesting and a wonderful afternoon with some very inspired individuals.
This event therefore seeks to encourage to recognize the role that youth plays in our society and in the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, thus functioning as drivers of peace and prosperity. And this event, Good Practices about empowering youth, will be shared. Artists, together with some talented youth from the Cometa NGO, worked on some of the monoliths you will see and will illustrate some of their creations to raise awareness about respect and literate of nature and awareness of climate change. These monolith structures that you can see behind us, there are some snapshots of these monoliths. They are, I think, around 25 meters high or something like that, so we couldn't bury them here. So what we did was to actually, through the curator, Tiziana Serretta, some pictures were taken of some parts of these monoliths, and some of these have been painted together with these youth from the Cometa. Others are just direct expression of the artist. Some of the artists here are young in spirit in the material, and others are a little bit more younger in terms of anagrammatic age. One is present with us, the other one is amazing, and I do hope we can show you his video message. Is really amazing. He's from Panama, he's 22 or 23 years old.
Now he's 21, but started to work with me at 18.
Okay. So I hope that we will be able to show you his video, and in his monoliths he portrays images of nature of Panama and animals of Panama and how important it is to take care of the climate change that has an impact on nature and the survival of some of these species in Panama. And he's just an amazing speaker. I really hope we can see at least his video. Unfortunately, we didn't get in time his visa to come to the United States of America. In conclusion, I believe that the aim of this event is to showcase in practice the role of arts and the new generations in accelerating the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for societies to become increasingly strong of social and environmental awareness. After these welcoming remarks, I would like to introduce to you His Excellency the Ambassador Stefano Stefanile
of Italy is very pleased to be there and to express its support. And then let me say very quickly, I do not have a script in front of me, so you will be spared from a long and boring speech that I could be able to do. But one thing I want to say, I was going through the draft program of this event and the related concept of it, and also from your introductory notes, I understood that this is much about the involvement, the role of young generations in communicating through art positive messages that can promote the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. And this is exactly what we need at this time. You know, over the last years here at the United Nations, we have strongly discussed, and at the end we got to the approval of a magnificent, I would say, programmatic manifesto, which is this 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which covers, as you know, 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I think it's a great achievement. It covers basically all the needs of humanity and the international community. But I also have to say that the implementation of this agenda is becoming increasingly difficult because it covers a lot of pressing global challenges which require global responses, and instead we find ourselves in an increasingly polarized context also here at the United Nations. So what we do need is a positive narrative, and we need that this narrative comes from younger generations, because obviously that is the place where energy is, where enthusiasm is, that is the place where this strong push for the implementation of the agenda can come and must come. And that is also the place from where a long-term vision can come, which is directly connected to the age and the future of the young generation. And coming to art, art is one of the most powerful means of communication and expression, and it's also instantaneous and immediate as a means of communication. You know, I don't want to add a personal note to this, but my wife is fond of contemporary art, and she forces me, and I migrate likely to follow her to a lot of art show and art exhibitions of contemporary art, and I cannot say we always have the same opinion about the art pieces that we see, but certainly we talk about it, which means that in any case, regardless of the reactions that we may have, the message is getting through. So that proves once again that art can be indeed a powerful means of expression and communication, and we do this as an instrument to promote implementation of these sustainable development goals. So once again, I'm happy to be here. I thank you, and through you, I thank DASA for organizing the event, and I'm really intrigued by what I will hear and see during these presentations. Thank you.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much. And now I think we can just move into the part of this event. I was wondering, because I know that usually ambassadors have very little time at their disposal, I was wondering if we could change slightly the order of the agenda and start with the intervention of Erasmo Ficini, who is the founder of the Cometa Formazione. He's not here, but he sent us a couple of videos where he shares with us what's all about, and then he shows us what this Cometa NGO is doing. And then there are also the interviews of two or three of his young students who attended the Oliver Twist School. So for you to appreciate the work they are doing, and then I would move to Stefano Lago and all the other excellent panelists we have here. So we will first start this panel with the video and with the interviews of Erasmo Ficini, founder of Cometa Formazione. Thank you. Paolo, you might wish to start from the beginning.
Data alla nostra scuola e alla nostra realtà. Spiritualità nella materia, questo è il tema, il titolo che Tiziana Serretta ha voluto dare a questo bel progetto, che da subito ho accettato, perché mi riporta alle mie origini e ci riporta al metodo della scuola Cometa. L'unica fonte di ispirazione che sempre mi ha aiutato nel mio lavoro, quello di arredatore, di creatore e di designer, è l'osservazione, la natura, il mondo. Tutto è fonte di ispirazione se un uomo è attento. Questo è quello che dico quotidianamente ai ragazzi, ma dico anche sempre ai ragazzi: tu sei un essere unico e irripetibile, per cui tutto quello che è fonte di ispirazione diventa unico, perché è filtrato da questa unicità. Perché insisto sul fatto che tutto è fonte di ispirazione se un uomo attento? Perché l'osservazione, che poi diventa contemplazione, genera domanda e genera stupore. E questa domanda a cui non puoi non rispondere, e questo stupore cambiano il modo proprio di comportarsi di uomo, il modo di guardare l'altro e gli altri, e non solo questo genera un cambiamento personale, ma genera un cambiamento di chi gli sta accanto, degli adulti che gli stanno accanto. questo credo che nel tempo generi un cambiamento sociale di cui il mondo ha tanto bisogno. Fare scuola è fare insieme, è educare attraverso la realtà, introdurre la bellezza. Insieme con meta, la città nella città, un ponte verso il mondo, la certezza di costruire il bene comune nella semplice vita quotidiana. Case, le nostre case, ora lasciate alla Fondazione Cometa. Famiglie, figli naturali, bambini in affido, ragazzi anche maggiorenni in affido che restano nelle famiglie finché trovano la loro strada, tutti e a tutti gli effetti nostri figli. Cinque appartamenti, 5 famiglie, 30 figli in affido, più 10 maggiorenni, più i figli naturali. 40 famiglie in rete che accolgono bambini in affido nelle loro abitazioni. La cappella. Ed ecco la scuola Oliver Twist, voluta in tutta la sua bellezza, per i 430 ragazzi iscritti che frequentano quotidianamente i percorsi professionali del tessile, del sala bar ristorazione, del legno, fagname restauro e i percorsi di alternanza scuola-lavoro per ragazzi dai 16 ai 18 anni, fuori da ogni percorso professionale, il cosiddetto liceo del lavoro. La sfida che chiunque acquisendo una professionalità possa diventare protagonista della propria vita. Ecco il ristorante didattico, la preparazione dei tavoli per la quotidiana apertura al pubblico. Il bar didattico con il laboratorio di pasticceria, anche questo aperto al pubblico, con i primi prodotti artigianali, biscotti, brioche, gelati, eccetera. Il laboratorio del legno, dove si progettano e si realizzano commesse reali, arredi su misura, restauro e decorazione di mobili. Il centro stile del tessile, l'associazione Centro Diurno, sostegno alle famiglie in difficoltà della città e dintorni, educatori attendono i ragazzi, più di 100, all'uscita dalla scuola, poi il pranzo insieme, sostegno allo studio, attività sportive, ricreative e dove necessario sostegno psicologico e counseling familiare. Ore 13:30, ecco l'uscita.
Cosa ho trovato qua? Intanto la gentilezza di tante persone, la disponibilità delle professoresse. A volte mi sento un po' in colpa spero di riuscire a dare a loro anche una minima parte di quello che loro danno a me.
Mi sono sentito per la prima volta, diciamo, parte di qualcosa, nel senso che qualcuno finalmente credeva in me, stava puntando sia dei soldi, sia dell'energia, sia del tempo, e questa cosa è la cosa principale per cui mi fa piacere venire qui in Cometa.
Hanno bisogno di questo, di sapere che si crede in loro, hanno tanta voglia di fare.
Non avrei mai pensato di imparare così tante cose in così poco tempo.
Ci sono persone che ti aiutano, persone che ti stanno dietro tutto il giorno e soprattutto che ti spronano a dare il meglio di te.
Ho cambiato anche i rapporti con gli adulti, il modo di parlare con i miei genitori per primi, e mi sento davvero contenta di quello che sto facendo e dell'opportunità che mi è stata offerta, quindi mi piace davvero tanto.
Beh, è un sacrificio perché farei anche altro, però ho capito che era molto utile per me e per il mio futuro.
Preferisco di più investire il mio tempo per il mio futuro invece che magari sprecarlo per divertirmi, che magari poi non potrò neanche più avere questa opportunità.
Well, talking about youth, Mr. Ambassador, anytime, I would like to now continue our story through other stories of other people who can share with us how creativity and art has empowered them and is still empowering them, and how they are empowering others. As for the bios, all of you have found, I think, on your seats out in front of you, the program, the agenda program, and at the very end there are the bios of all the people who are going to share with us some of their stories or messages. I would like now to move, following the initial agenda, to the next speaker, Stefano Lago, who is a business developer director of Nalesso Interiors. Much more than that, I think. Stefano. Each speaker, by the way, will have around 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela. Excellencies, Ms. Boss, Director of the Division of Social Development, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad and honored to be part of this event, since youth and artists are often the forefront of innovation for the novel ways of addressing problems like social or environmental one. I'm an artist on my own way, being also a designer, and since I was a child I was exposed to the beauty of natural fabrics. That had an impact on me and has given me important tools then that become part of my profession. For this I have to thank you, my mother, who, without realizing it, empowered me, sharing her knowledge on fabrics, and my father, who gave me the passion for architecture. They provided me that sort of informal education, United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4, that has become a long life learning one. Let me tell you the story of a young boy coming from the province of Venice in Italy. He was always playing along the Brenta River while his grandpa was fishing. The boy has to be silent, to not scare the fish, and he was encouraged to his grandpa to look around to find objects that he could meanwhile play with. That is how the boy learned to make toys out of what nature was offering him. And he used to play with all the natural materials like cord, wood, and any other material, and the fabrics he could find in his grandpa magic indigo blue bag. In the coming years, the mother of the boy opened a tailor factory. Immediately, the idea of the boy was to create his own indigo blue bag like grandpa. The boy was very creative, and since his childhood developed a strong sense of respect for nature and appreciation of natural fabrics. Little by little, for almost 17 years. Let me read you an extract of the book that is the essence of this project. This project represents to me the perfect combination between design, art, nature, sustainability, teamwork, and hope. Because all of us are different, like those fabrics. And this is the perfect example that different fabric dyed with the same color, natural indigo, will absorb the same color differently, depending on the origin, like human. In conclusion, I know how art is different, in these different dimensions, can impact the life of people. And I strongly believe that in our creativity and the power of art to promote peace, development, and respect of nature. Actively engaging and empowering children and youth to address those complex problems through art, and is the key step to capacitate young people to become leaders and empowered climate agents. The creative industry can help to promote the social justice, inclusion, and participation in climate action by telling powerful stories in ways that connect, because we as an artist we need to educate, implying or working with youth, particularly with those that who are living in disadvantaged condition, have the responsibility to create safe, challenging space for creative expression. Let us be united for all the peoples as storytellers through our works on the full global impact for a better world, for the people and the planet, for live in an inclusion and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We believe that also art plays a fundamental role in promoting universal peace, social justice, and inclusion and respect of people for all ages and planet. What is the purpose of this event? Is to promote through art the concept of spirituality in the material, which, like the principle of the United Nations, is a message of love, hope, fraternity, tolerance, peace, and harmony. As a mother of two teenagers, twins, I understand how important is the role of youth as leaders of today, and the importance to empower youth and engage them as agents of change for climate action and for including all youth, rich or not, with or without disabilities, with formal education or not. In a few words, love, hope, fraternity, tolerance, peace and harmony, in support of the endeavors of the United Nations. I strongly believe in the role of art and in the context of social and environment action. Through this platform, I came to formulate the collaboration with the prestigious mineral water Aquasai in Panama. This water is created with the related purpose of planting trees in the beaten down rainforest, which has been recently destroyed by excessive human construction and speculation. Furthermore, I believe in the blend between art and social action and youth, which I brought to life through my collaboration with Erasmo Figini and NGO Cometa, which revolved around the project of the professional school Oliver Twist in Como, Italy. This project aims to offer more formative and educational opportunities to the school's youth community, who are often unprivileged and come from vulnerable situations. Sorry, my English. Some of these talented youth from NGO Cometa had the opportunity to work with famous artists, some present today, by painting monoliths, of which I brought some pictures. All material used is eco-friendly and recycled in respect of nature and the planet. The monoliths are simply pages of the human journey through the eyes and soul of each artist. Lauretta, intellectual and spiritual artist, has created works that elaborate on religious tolerance, spiritual unity of the procession of Sicilian villages, and the culture of the past and technology future in a background of the Siamese countryside. Di Piazza embodied a transfigured and fantastic Sicily with the sea, aquatic and terrestrial anima, and the volcano Etna. Giacomo Rizzo, that is easier, employs the symbols in his monolith, including not only the cauliflower, Giacomo loved cauliflower, ancestral element of the Sicilian diet, but also the physiognomy of the cerebral tissue, transforming it in a plastic element. But Giacomo is here as a panelist to illustrate the meaning of his monolith, even then better than me. Osvaldo de Leon Cantule is a cuna from the Islas Las Perlas, Panama, who portrayed the rainforest, a tree woman in his monolith with a breast and a head composed by mariposas, butterflies, symbolizing the heart and brain of the forest. These butterflies are at risk of extinction for human greed that tears down trees for business and for the construction of resorts. Andres Rivera, we talk about him that unfortunately is not here because he's a young, I told him, please, do the Byzantine. Yes, don't worry. I was not in time, like my dream. A young artist of only 20 years of age, and also a Panamanian. Expresses a message about the environment, religious tolerance, and crime committed by humans on other species through his graphic art. His art embodied the new generation fresh and direct language, as well as the desire for a better future. In addition, Daniela Forcella. Presentia paints a message of human fragility and spiritual tendency through her portrayal of the soul's journey, little traveling man, united by the research of love and life. Next up are the sophisticated Cesare Berlingeri, who created his intellectual monolith to go for the star, and Erasmo Figini, who with his incredible reality and geocometa offers the opportunity to find a family, education and future to the innumerable children of different ethnicity through the Oliver Twist School inside the community Cometa of course. Erasmo offered his artistry as a designer of precious fabric and art that generally aligns with my belief that it is possible to create art with the recycled material. But above all, it teaches beauty and generosity, demonstrating to the children that they constitute a family in which love and harmony are the base of a happier future, and that their heavy and sad experience don't destroy joy and hope. Having myself spent many weeks in NGO Cometa working on the monolith with the artists and youths, I was able to live the world of sharing beauty and newfound joy. I had the honor of knowing this wonderful family of 14 adoptive children in addition to 5 biological children, a family in which the energy, harmony, and love were tangible. Unfortunately, Erasmo isn't here, but we saw his YouTube video featuring this amazing reality, and his own as well as his children and youth stories. For me, it was miraculous to be part of this innovative project that empowers youth and is very inclusive. All youth and children are by respecting their unique souls, each of its own age, ethnicity, culture, and personality that inspire and enrich me. For me, it has been an honor to work with each one of them, confronting one another along the way, and I have to say that I found the wisdom in the 21 years old artist, not too much Andres, as well as the 50 or 70 years old. I also found equal inspiration, brilliant ideas in the young and well-talented individuals already considered artists. Perhaps art can no longer afford to remain isolated in its ivory tower. Its duty is now to call for action, send strong social messages, and sensitize the young to the many problems that the world must confront, among which climate change. In my collaboration with national and international artists, dialogue and the ability to listen are key to the paving of new roads, where the fusion of culture are tools to create beauty and social inclusion. And I believe that this doesn't just apply to art. Working in the high fashion industry, I collaborate with French, Japanese, and Italian couturiers alongside artists, and I feel that I can offer something unique to research such a natural vegan textile that respects the environment, thus uniting elegance and environment action. I'm vegan, but that's a different story. Let me conclude by saying again that this event for me, it means to support the endeavors of the United Nations through art and empowering the youth to accelerate the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. 4. Education. 10. Reduce inequality. And 13. Climate. And share good practices to leave no one behind. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love breaking rules. And I wonder, since we've mentioned this young artist from Panama, if it is possible, if the video works, maybe to change slightly the agenda and give the voice now to somebody who's young, you know, so we can alternate. Not that you're not young or I'm not young or the ambassador or Stefano, but I mean, roughly speaking, if the video works, I mean, maybe we could listen now to one of the artists, because then artists finally will share with us what they have done and what their messages are. So we could maybe start with the video of Andreas Silveira, this young artist from Panama. Andres.
Distinguished guests. Started with so much negativity from our mediums towards us trying to dedicate our lives to artistic expression. I think this has to change, and it needs to happen now. Because art will empower the youth to drive positive social outcomes and positive environmental outcomes for all of us as a species. And it would be a shame to deprive ourselves from all the benefits and the good that it would bring to us if we supported the crafts of art more. I do believe all children and all youth are intrinsic artists. Be it on theater or performances or graffiti art, tattoo art, even video game designing, I believe is a form of art. I believe any type of self-expression can be considered a form of art. So really it isn't that hard to drive positive social change to all the youth through art, because we all carry it with ourselves. For me, art has been a way of self-growth and technical artistic growth, of course, but most importantly, self-growth, because it's slowly but steadily taught me to deliver clear ideas and clear thoughts to other people assertively, which is invaluable for me in my day-to-day meeting. If we could just teach all the youths that.
Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's give my great pleasure to stand to all of you a very warm thank you for having organized this event. Only the very best people in any field will take the time and make the offer of their points of an innovative conference like this one, where art and youth play a key role. As a professor, sculptor attend the Foundry Techniques at the Academy of Arts Palermo. Youth is there to me as an actor of change of the present and the future. As a sculptor set design, I have worked with several national and international theaters. As a for my poetics is configured as a continuous search for aesthetic and language traveled direct contact with nature and its territory, which becomes a place of the soul for me. It's gratifying to note that the agenda of the event covers a wide range of very interesting items relating to the physical and spiritual aspect of our art helps to raise awareness and promote intergeneration teaching, and learning offers opportunities of inclusions to all youth, particularly to those whose voice is not always heard. Today, we live in a world where nature is undergoing several mutations or extinctions. Due to climate change, the challenges of a sculptor, witness Didier Ottinger, which regarded to surrealism and the object, will be preciously a title for Gary Matter to Watson Le Breton in the Manifesto of Surrealism 1924 calls interior model, to which artistic creation must be inspired. Its interior model take my sculptor work want to circumscribe, giving a consistency to the invisible, creating a new typology of sculpture.
For my English, I hope my short speech will add value to this important event. Imagine jumping out of a skydiving plane and discovering your parachute doesn't work. What sensation or memories would flash before you? Now imagine the parachute open. How differently would you act when you landed? If I think of one of my works on the occasion of the 57th Venice Biennale last year, presented the cartographies, I see hearts, many hearts, of every inclination, color, meaning. Dig up the monochrome black or white surface. Engrave a map of the soul. Create an emotional stratigraphy. The heart is a place of soul. and form my soul. I'm very excited to be here and talk about spirit in the material and the many way art promotes inclusion and rising awareness on so much issues the world is facing today. For me, the main purpose of the event is to exchange ideas with friends. And participating in this exchange will be United Nations and other officials, artists of international repute. The result, it is hoped, will be to the benefit of the social and environment dimensions, where feelings play an important role. For me as an artist, with my work, I want to touch the heart of the people. It was Carl Jung who reminds us, one looks back with appreciation to the brilliant teachers, but with gratitude to those who touched our human feelings. The curriculum is so much necessary raw materials, but warmth is the vital element for the growing plant and for the soul of the child. With the past a refined collector, I studied and perfected my style at drawing courses with the master and artist Italo Pioli at the Academy of Belle Arti of Brera in Milan. I discovered a strong inclination for pop art, in particular the theme of repetition. My first works, a multitude of parts in polychrome resin painting over the carcasses of all the bed frames, including enlarged transparent display cases, were so laden with symbolic power that in one of his articles, the New York critic Alan Jones defined me as the Queen of Hearts, comparing the heart to the supermarket product celebrated by Andy Warhol. Tiziana concepts inspired me to create two monoliths, exciting the message of love. The first piece portrays miniature humans traveling light, carrying only a small suitcase and holding an illuminated path. United tightly below a suffering heart. These humans, travelers of the soul, depict the spiritual search for profound connection and solidarity in favor of materialistic obsession. The heart symbolizes the current pain inflicting the collective.
Thank you. First of all, I'm so honored and grateful to be here. I can't believe I'm here. To me, it's unreal. To be in this space with all of you, it's really, in some way, intimidating, but in a good way. I also want to thank you so much, Tiziana. You came to me, you came to my life when I didn't...
This is my story. I'm 18 years old. I left Andres.
And in that time, I was lost in my career. I didn't know what to do, and I do this. I am a photographer. I also a digital artist. I am self-taught, and I didn't know if my work, my vision had value. And you came to me, and you showed me that I can push myself. You showed me to believe in me when not even I believe in myself. So you're like an angel to me. So I'm very grateful for that.
You are an event.
So to be here, invited by you, and to be surrounded by all of you, it's a dream to me. To be this, I'm very young and shy, but okay. I started. I was a very shy person. I didn't knew what to do. I say that photography found me to express myself, to show what I do, to have a voice in some way, and it led me to show others that they could have a voice too, that they are not alone, because I felt alone in some way, and that's what I really fought for that. And in this project, I really think of that. When Tiziana told me to think of to provide to this amazing and unbelievable project, and what I think is to show others that they can express themselves, that they can show themselves who they can be and be true to themselves. I also come from Panama. It's a very beautiful country, but it's also very poor. No. Also, it's growing in the arts, and compared to other countries. And I believe through art we can speak different languages and unite all of us. So I'm very honored to that Tiziana uses my vision to express what she wants, and it's really what I came for, and I will keep doing this until you say so. So I will use all of my knowledge for this project, all of that I can do to help others to find themselves, to help us to be more conscious about nature also, and all that I can do. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I love when people say the things they have in their heart without reading. Thank you so much. It really gives another kind of vibe to the room. I think that we have heard so far all the various artists and panelists we have here. You might have noticed while you were coming into the room that there are 3 sculptures there. And so afterwards, after this event, you might ask more questions maybe to Tiziana Servetta. They are cages that contain other Italian products, but we're not here to do any publicity, but we're talking about things that nature gives us through olives. I'm talking about oil, and those special containers were made by young artists, and not young artists, with material that comes from nature. Again, to have this in about nature and using materials that are not harmful neither for the planet nor for us. As you see, the United Nations now doesn't sell anymore anything with plastic, but has to be in the paper or other form of containers. Having said this, and I would like really to open up the conversation, and I know that there are a few of you who have to share either comments, advice, or even projects they themselves are doing in the field of arts, youth, and the implementation and the acceleration of the implementation of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda. So the floor is open.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone, Your Excellency, Daniela Bass, UN staff members, artists alike. My name is Gail Davis, and I am actually a UN partner, part of a UNGO, and report into different areas of the Secretariat and UN agencies. So I'm going to make this really brief. 20 years ago, I started with, well, before that, but I started with Quincy Jones, UNDP, when it first began, for the first live stream of artists here for NetAid about poverty. My background is I've worked with everyone from Gladys Knight, Barry White, to a lot of people, sculpting, painting, and all that. But you know, at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. What matters is the story that art tells. I like to say that writing opens up the mind of what's in us. Art paints the picture. Film tells the story. Dance gives us freedom to be in the story and experience it. And I could go on about that, but We have a UN Creators 2030, the Creators 2030 UN Arts Initiative that we brought to Amina, the Secretary General, Daniela Bass, DASA, and everyone. And the intention is, we've done it in Thailand, we've done it in New York, and we've done it in other countries, where we actually support the artists in having a full-time income, which is goal number 1. We give them organic fruits and vegetables, which is number 2, and 3, we actually give them holistic health. Why? Because they have to be supported and paid for what they do. And in turn, their artistic works bring us into the solutions of social and global issues. And it also applies those solutions in a way that amplifies what people can see and feel and touch, rather than being spoke to and looked at and told what to do. People can come up with their own solutions, be inspired into action. Because social media is great, but at the end of the day, it's all of us getting together and share this. We've also worked with youth in other communities where they didn't have a place to express themselves of what was going on in their community. Nobody was listening. Governments weren't listening or anything. So we went in and worked with them, with our staff, and let them take the camera and let them create films of solutions they saw in their own neighborhoods, of the way they thought the solutions could be dealt with in that way. And we're also putting together an artist declaration for climate and the SDGs that we're giving to the World Economic Forum and to the Secretary General and Daniela Bass. We've already done this at the World Economic Forum at the beginning of this year. So with all that said, I would love to welcome everyone around this table to really work together, to really connect together, and to not just talk about it or leave the egos at the door, and let us really be here to work with each other. The gentleman over here created Culture of Peace yesterday, and what the people had to say in there, they weren't just talking, they were walking the walk. So Daniela, I really thank you for this, and I hope I didn't take up too much of your time, but it's not just you, there's all of us working together, because the youth didn't leave this here, we left it there for them. Thank you.
We don't have much time left, but we still have some time left. And I see that there is a young gentleman who would like to take the floor. Please, introduce yourself.
Sorry, can I ask them a question, and maybe if there's time, share what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. So we're going to artists here. I'm really inspired by what you're doing. I was just wondering, do you have any steps to expand your audience so that your art could be heard to more people?
Can you elaborate a little bit more? What would be your idea, your wish?
Oh, me? The idea that I have, or?
No, you just asked a question. So
yeah.
What kind of? Can you elaborate a little bit more?
How are you gonna expand your audience who are going to look at your art? Because one problem that a lot of artists face is that their art is the viewers who look at their art is limited. So I was wondering what are your plans of expanding your art or market it to more people so that people can get your message?
So besides art galleries, what are other means and ways actually to open up to everyone what artists are doing? Yeah. Thank you. Another question before we have the tour around? Yes, please.
Coming to
introduce yourself.
I'm Dilip J. I'm the Vice President for the UNSRC Cyrus Wellbeing here, the founder of the International Day for Yoga. So I'm an artist too. I love all of this art. I thought if we have an International Day for Art, it can make a big work for all the artists around the world. I think Daniel always do wonderful events here. We can propose something to the UN, that will be a good thing for artists.
As a civil society, you have to do some lobbying with governments so that then they put a resolution and you will move from there. We have a diplomat who can tell you how it might happen. Thank you. Another question before we answer? Yes, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Alice Liu. I'm with the Listen Give Initiative, and I love what you said about how art can unite all of us. It overcomes language barriers. So can music. And our group has created a song called Together We're Never Alone, and we have a Together We initiative where we are advocating for the SDGs, and we're inviting everyone to show solutions through how you can work together to solve issues that matter to you.
So this somehow also answers the question to the young gentleman. This could be another way through songs, for instance, and music. Someone else? I know we have a film producer here. Don't look away.
Sorry.
You might wish to say something in terms of art and youth and promoting messages of social change and social awareness, maybe linked even to social climate, who knows. It would be interesting to know about your experience. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Raffaello. I'm a film producer. I used to work with Paolo Sorrentino as an Italian director. And talking about climate change lately with the PGA, that producer Guild of America, so the big issue is on movie set we use in the past too much waste, plastic, and all these problems that we create every day. So it's been really an issue. We try to fix this problem even with all the trucks in the movie used to bring on set, all the pollution that we create. So it's well aware in the industry about this problem. And regarding to the social issue, for sure, film or storytelling, it's a product that really tells something and help people to understand the problem. Because what I noticed during this conference is listening to these people and their story, it's really important. But when you put together the story with images and with music, it's something that's really get into our soul. So I think not just because it's my field, work in movies, but I think it's movies and storytelling through images might have a strong impact on everybody. So for sure, film something that needs to get into the social world. Thank you.
Funding to the different UN agencies and NGOs to help them.
The Secretariat is in desperate need of money as well. That's another story. But it's a good thing that you're doing. Thanks for sharing that.
So, if everybody is satisfied with what we have shared and learned today, please bring this message outside to other artists, in different fields, for them to empower youth in the way some of these artists are doing, and others were not present, but we saw them in the videos, as well as what we, United Nations, are doing by giving this a space to have this kind of conversations. Art is important to empower young people. Young people are important because they are the leaders of today and tomorrow. They can, through their messages, through art, in its different forms, bring messages of peace, but also well-being for the people and the planet, including therefore messages about what's happening in the world in terms of changes in the climate. And above all, as Tiziana Starretta said, and also Daniela through her hearts and all the others in different ways, we need hope. When we have hope, we have the drive to move. And so we have to give hope also to young artists, as Andreas said earlier on, that there is a space for them to express who they are, and when they grow up, as Pablo Picasso said, they don't have to forget. They have not to be put in a cage. Their creativity has not to be put in a cage because they're grown up, and therefore they have to behave in a certain way. Maybe it's time to break that kind of rules and bring something that gives the world what the world used to own before, not to be controlled by. And I saw that there are some people here very much into STEM, but artificial intelligence, no matter how important it is, it has not to bring us away from our nature, from the nature that we human beings have, that is empathy and understanding and tolerance and dialogue and respect of nature and love for colors and whatever is beauty. I see that there is a gentleman there. I let you close the meeting. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry for the late question.
Mike.
Oh, Mike.
Sorry about the late question. My name is John Maiorelli. I'm a graphic designer in New York. It was a very interesting subject, but I'm very interested in the subject of the connection between spirituality and art. And I have a question for Stefano Lago regarding the patchwork project. Of course, I recognize the spirituality in the work of Bruno Munari as one of my heroes. But I wanted to know how he found the connection between that project that was never realized by him and that he brought to life and spirituality. How did you see the spirituality in that particular, I think it was a drawing, right? Can you tell us more about it?
Thank you. So basically, I found this professor by chance, and basically, I think it's a result because we need to have hope. Because when you believe in something, something is going to happen. So hope to me is very important. First of all. Second, after this hope to learn how to play with materials and so on. Basically, I went to a lesson when all the teachers were doing this course. So this professor from Padua, which is the only one alive, worked with Munari for 17 years, it was like a room like this, there was a lot of teachers, and he looked at me and said, "Are you a teacher?" I said, "No, I'm a teacher. I'm not a teacher, I'm someone that I want to learn." And after we became friends, and when he knew that I was like an expert in textile business, he told me, "Have you ever heard about Bruno Munari?" And I said, "Yeah, of course, he's one of my heroes too." And he told me, "Have you ever heard that he never made the patchwork?" And I said, "Yeah. Do you want to do this work with me?" And I said, "Really, me? I'm not an artist." And he said, "What you said, everybody of us is an artist, have a soul." So basically, the spirituality is like putting together research, explain to the supplier that I was doing this little project, not for business, but for a purpose to make this something that was never done. It was like, to me, amazing because I found kind people, I found, a lot of these things that we are discussing here today. And the spirit you keep alive because basically through materials, people involve themselves, In the project that you saw, there is 18 different fabrics from different companies, and everybody was very proud, to give me his little piece. And that's for me is like the spirit, It is like representing everybody of them, and we expand to say, as I don't remember the name of the ladies, that she explained, I think we are here to work together, related to you. So we need to start from somewhere. We don't need to be shy because it's like we need to start from somewhere, And it was just the beginning to me. Thank you.